Hello guys, today we're gonna learn how to replace a receiving card, either because we have a flickering problem, either because it's burned, or maybe after a tech session, the technician might ask us to replace our receiving card. Whatever the case is, we will teach you how to do it. For indoor panels, remember we have magnets in the modules, so that makes it front service. We can access from the front to be able to replace the receiving card. This is great because you don't necessarily need to take out the panel from the whole configuration to be able to replace the receiving card. For the owners of outdoor panels, the option that they have is going from the back because the outdoor panels are not front service. So we have the option for this little door to access to the interior of the panel and be able to replace the receiving card from the back. Sometimes it's more comfortable taking the panel to a better place where you can actually move it and move it to different positions, because that's going to be a comfortable way to remove the receiving card or any other component that you might need to replace. In this case, I'm doing that basically. I'm grabbing one of the panels to make this example. First, I'm removing all the modules from the cabinet, but you don't necessarily have to do this. Like I said, you can access from the back or from the front if you don't really want to take out the panels from the configuration that you have. Once we have this, we're gonna proceed to remove the 4 screws that the receiving card has in the corners. I'm gonna proceed to flip the panel because I'm gonna work way better this way, since I can open the little door from the back and then I can take up everything that is inside of the panel. Once we open it like this, we're gonna be able to work a little bit more comfortable. We will unscrew these 2 connectors from the receiving card. These 2 connectors are the ones that provide power to the receiving card. Lastly, we are gonna remove these 2 Cat6 cables from the ports and this little flex cable. If you are not super tech, I always suggest you to take pictures of what you have before unplugging everything so you can know how to connect it later. There's a lot of different types of receiving cards for different type of panels. Here we have an example of the same model of the one that we are replacing right now, but it's a little different. Make sure that you understand the differences between the receiving card and the hub. As you can see here, I'm removing the receiving card from the hub. This is the NovaStar receiving card. This is the hub. The hub is basically where you connect all the modules to the card. Not all the receiving cards have the hub separately from the receiving card. In these cases, for example, with the ones that you're seeing on the screen, these are already the hub and the receiving card all in one. As we said before, not all the receiving cards are the same. This one has a couple differences with the other one that we are installing. This one, for example, has the ability to connect power on 2 different ways, either through this port or through this other port. This little white cable is what provides signal to the LCD screen in the back of the panel. If you have an outdoor panel, don't worry about that connection because it doesn't exist in outdoor panels. Now we will proceed to connect that little flex cable in the receiving card. And lastly, we're going to connect the power of the receiving card. In this case, this receiving card is like this, but as we mentioned it before, it can have a regular connector as the modules. Now we are going to connect the 2 Cat6 cables that comes out from the ports. We're going to connect them on the 2 little ports on the receiving card. Once connected, it should look something like this. Remember, we're going to close this little door, so that is why it looks like this. It shouldn't look like this when we close the door, but it's just to make the example. We are almost there. We're going to screw the card to the cabinet using the screws that we removed from the corners. Once the card is attached to the cabinet, we're gonna use the support pictures that we took with our phone to remember how these cables were connected. I'm closing everything and flipping it back again so I can start connecting all the modules. Remember, we're gonna have 4 flex cable and 4 ribbon cables. Ribbon cables for power, flex cable for data. This panel only has 4. It has 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. But some panels can have more ribbon cables and flex cables because some panels are bigger, so they have more modules. In order to put the modules correctly, you can guide yourself by the little label that they have. They have a serial number and at the end they have a letter. It could be either B or A letter. B means a right module, looking at the panel from the front, and A means a left module, looking at the panel from the front too. Remember, this panel only has 4 modules, 2 right and 2 left. Some other panels might be bigger, so they will have more modules and they might not have the same orientation. Some of them might not have a right or left orientation. They could be just neutral. So starting from here, I'm just gonna follow the same principle, read the label, and then place the module in the right spot. Once you have the panel ready, we are ready to send the RCGX file to the panel. As I said, there's different type of receiving cards. They are not all the same. Some of them are easier or harder to replace. Some of they work a little different, but you can follow the same principle that you learned in this video in order to replace any type of receiving card from any panel. If you have any questions about a specific panel or a specific way to replace the receiving card from your panel, please do not hesitate in reaching out to us so we can explain and provide further instructions.